Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I take a look at all the new comic books coming out on either September 12th or 13th, 2023, and I ask myself the question, what one new comic book would I buy this week if I could buy just one book? At least that's usually what I do. This is going to be another week where I don't have a pick. There are some interesting books worth talking about. I'm only pulling 2 books this week, but basically when I do a just one book pick, it means that I have to buy it so that I can talk about it in a future video. But there are none of these books that are coming out this week that I am motivated enough to make a pick and then purchase, especially in a time where I am really trying to keep my comic book spending down to a minimum. So I don't have a pick this week, but I do have some honorable mentions. We'll get to those in just a minute. Let's start off first, though, by taking a look back at my pick from 2 weeks ago, which was The Devil's Cut, issue number 1. It's a one-shot. And the question remains, was it a worthy and worthwhile pick to be my just one book pick of the week? And the answer is yes. As far as I'm concerned, yes. The answer was always going to be yes. I am very enthusiastic. I am very optimistic about the future potential from this new publisher Distillery, especially because of the slate of amazing writers and artists that they have as part of their founding creators. You all know my love for James Tynion IV. That's what drew me to it, but there are so many other great creators. I'm not even going to try to list them right now. I listed them previously in a different video. I just read the book. From a reading standpoint, it's interesting. Nothing like fantastic or mind-blowing. Granted, it's all like 6 to 10 page, little stories. So there's not much opportunity to really wow somebody from a storytelling perspective. But even though they are short little snippets of stories, there were a few of them that I was really compelled by, that I was really like, wow, this is imaginative, this is interesting, this is unique, this is creative, this is engaging, this is something that I want to see more of. So I'm optimistic for the potential of the stories that are coming from Distillery. But more than anything, I am very optimistic about its spec potential. I think Distillery is a publisher that has potential to be around for a long time, to tell really great stories, and all of that starts with this The Devil's Cut issue. It will never be reprinted in this format again, so if any of the stories from it go someplace in a bigger, wider audience, like in movies or television, it's something that is absolutely going to impact the value of The Devil's Cut positively. So I'm optimistic about it. I bought a ton of copies. So I'm pretty flush on that. If for some reason you're interested in The Devil's Cut and are having a hard time getting a copy of it, message me on Instagram. The information for my Instagram is down below. I have extra copies. I have more copies than I need. So I would be happy to try to work out a way to get you a copy. I'll try to cut you the best possible deal that I can. All right, that's it for the pick from 2 weeks ago. Now let's go through the honorable mentions that I have this week. The first book I want to tell you about is House of Slaughter, issue number 17 from Boom Studios. I mentioned this book because I am picking it up this week. It's Something is Killing the Children universe. I'm a big fan, as you all know, of Something is Killing the Children, and House of Slaughter delivers for me. I'm interested in, this is the second issue of this new story arc. The first issue in this story arc was interesting, and I want to see more from that story. And that will be coming to me this week in issue number 17. So I'm pulling it, and therefore it is an honorable mention of mine. Another honorable mention this week is Alligator Loki, issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. I will warn you right off the bat, this is a $5.99 book. It features adventures of Alligator Loki, who I believe first came on everybody's radar on the Loki Disney Plus television series. Well, they did a kind of mini comic book series for it on the on something called Infinity Comics from the Marvel Unlimited app. So it's all that material has been published there digitally already. This will be the first time that this content is in print. So it's the first in-print appearance of Alligator Loki. If that does something for you, then you might consider picking up Alligator Loki this week. In a similar vein, we have another new book. It is Spine-Tingling Spider-Man, issue number 0 from Marvel Comics. This tells what seems to be an out-of-continuity Spider-Man story that's a little bit on the darker side, which I actually like. Spider-Man, I think, is such a bright and happy character, although he has his turmoil, lots of it, you know. When it goes into like a darker, kind of horror-y, scary vibe, it's something that works for me, so I like that. And we have that happening here in this Spine-Tingling Spider-Man number 0. This was also an Infinity Comics series through the Marvel Unlimited app. So this is material that has been published before, but this is the first time it's in print. So if you didn't catch it there and you want to catch it here, now is your opportunity. The next book I want to tell you about is a new book. It is called Avengers, Inc., issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. Basically, this is about Vision and a Wasp, and they appear to be like detectives, kind of, sort of, and they're solving mysteries, and they're at the center of the mysteries, and it's kind of weird and hard to explain, and kind of hard for me to grasp. I'm doing my best based off of the description and the covers that I'm seeing here. It's different and unusual. And therefore, I'm interested. I'm curious. I'm into taking characters from Marvel Comics that are just like standard, typical characters like Vision and Wasp and putting them in a different kind of tone, in a different kind of universe, in a different kind of situation. This could either be really, really great or really, really not great. Well, it's from writer Al Ewing. Al Ewing did the Immortal Hulk that was loved by many, 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 many people. So I am optimistic that the writer is somebody of quality and that it will reflect in the book itself. So it could be something interesting. If you like Marvel Comics, if you like Marvel's characters, if you like the Wasp and you like Vision and you want to see a little something different, Avengers, Inc. issue number 1 might be something worth checking out this week. The next book I want to tell you about is Daredevil, issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. This is an expensive, some of these are expensive this week. I'll do my best to flag them, but check the price on some of these to make sure that that's not a deal breaker for you. This is a $6.99 book. I don't know if that's because it's massive or if it's because, in part because of that and in part because Marvel's raising its prices on everything, which is a difficult pill for me to swallow. But regardless, this issue of Daredevil, issue number 1, is $6.99. It's a new Daredevil series. We just had a Daredevil series finish. I have a lot of sympathy for Saladin Ahmed, who is writing this new Daredevil series because it is coming off of a Daredevil series by Chip Zdarsky that people loved. People for years have been talking about how good Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil series is. So that's over. And now this guy's taking over with a new reboot of Daredevil. I just hope it's really, 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 really good because the fans of Daredevil have been spoiled for the past few years. So if you are one of those fans and you want to check out more Daredevil, Daredevil 1 comes out this week. The next book I'm going to tell you about is Werewolf by Night, issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. Similar to Daredevil, this is just a new ongoing, I believe it's ongoing, it doesn't say anything about it being limited, series featuring a character that has been around for a long time, in this case, Werewolf by Night. As you can see, Elsa Bloodstone is also in the mix on this one. If you're interested in this, it's worth checking out. And I'll just add right now that the Werewolf by Night Disney Plus kind of special presentation movie that they had, I really enjoyed. I thought it was something different, something fresh, something fun, something entertaining. I really liked it a lot. So if you saw that and you liked it a lot too, and you want to get more from Werewolf by Night and Elsa Bloodstone, boom, here you go. The next book I want to tell you about is awesome. It is Harriet Tubman, Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer, issue number 1 from Massive. Basically, all you need to know is that it is Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer. That's what it's Harriet Tubman. She's a demon slayer. It's in the vein of Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, if you're familiar with that. That's something that people enjoyed and had a lot of fun with. And also the solicitation states that this Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer is soon to be an original series on Disney Plus. Wow! Not necessarily the content I would have expected out of Disney Plus, but I am not mad about it at all. It sounds like it could be fun, sounds like it could be really entertaining, and I like fun and I like to be entertained. So if you are optimistic about the speculation potential of a new comic book that apparently already has a series on Disney Plus, I could understand why. Frankly, I'm interested as well. It's a little bit kind of wacky for me, so it's the only reason I'm not picking it up this week, but I absolutely am going to be keeping it on my radar because it sounds like fun and it's going to be a television show on Disney Plus. So those are two reasons that make it worth checking out. The next book I want to tell you about is another new book. It is called Kill More, issue number 1 from IDW. Here's part of the description. The city of Colonia is suffering from total economic collapse, but worse than the unemployment and urban decay is the skyrocketing homicide rate. Most of the few cops left on the force think it's just another symptom of the city's decline. But one detective has a darker theory, that the most depraved killers in the country have all moved here to take advantage of the chaos. This one sounds kind of interesting to me. It's dark, it's twisted, it seems like it could be pretty cool. I don't know the writer or the artist. The writer is Scott Bryan Wilson. The artist is Max Allan Fuchs. But it's an interesting premise. So if you're looking for something a little dark and indie this week, Kill More might be something worth checking out. The next book I'm going to tell you about is The Madness, issue number 2 of a 6-issue limited series from AWA. I mention this because I am going to be buying it. It's one of the 2 books that I am pulling this week. I read issue number 1 and I enjoyed it a lot. So I'm going to, at least I plan to pick up issues number 2 through 6 as long as it keeps me engaged. So I'm really excited to check out The Madness issue number 2 coming out this week. As we get into the home stretch, I will mention that this upcoming Saturday, depending on when you're watching this video, it's September the 16th, is Batman Day. And so, of course, DC has a handful of Batman books for you this week. One of the things that they're offering is a facsimile of Batman issue number 1. Now, that's cool. I like the fact that you can get facsimiles of these comics and read something that you'd never be able to read otherwise in print form if you had the original, because you just wouldn't even touch it. You would just protect it with your life because it's very valuable. So here's an opportunity to read them and potentially collect Batman issue number 1 if you are so inclined. I will tell you that the normal cover is $6.99. The foil cover is $8.99. Ooh wee, that's a lot for a reprint. And the blank is $7.99. I guess it's probably because it's on a thicker cardstock paper that they felt they needed to charge a little bit more for. So it is a very expensive facsimile, but if you are so inclined, here is your opportunity to get your hands on a Batman issue number 1. Speaking of Batman, like I said, we would be. The next book I want to tell you about is Batman, Gargoyle of Gotham, issue number 1 of a 4-issue limited series from DC Black Label. This is a DC Black Label title, means it's a little bit darker, and I think Batman is great in darker toned stories. This is out of continuity, and it does promise an all-new rogues gallery. I don't know if that means a twist on the Batman villains that we already know, or if it means new Batman villains, but either way, I think Batman stories are great. I think Batman kind of Elseworld type stories are fantastic, and this could have those elements. So if you're a Batman fan and you want to check out something different and darker this week, Batman Gargoyle of Gotham issue number 1 might be worth checking out. And the last book that I am going to mention this week is a new book. It is Batman and Robin, issue number 1 from DC. The Robin in question here is Damian, Batman's son, and they are going to be teaming up and fighting crime. I'm a big fan of the character of Batman. I'm reading the Batman series, but I'm not so interested in picking this up. Basically, there's too much Batman, is the way I feel. And I basically just want one Batman story. I want the main Batman story, and I get that from Chip Zdarsky's current run on Batman. But this looks like it could be pretty entertaining. It's from writer Joshua Williamson and artist Simone DeMeo, who are two well-established, fantastic comic book creators. So we are doing great in the writer and artist category. In addition, this book promises a new villain. Where was it right there? Well, I forget where it was in there, but in some place it does say that there is a new villain coming. And in fact, I will say that I went to Key Collector to look up more information on that, and it says that the character is Shush, who is a female villain reminiscent of Hush. Now, it's so like close to Hush, and if it's meant to kind of be like Hush, it's so close that I fear it'll almost fall into like parody category, but maybe not. I don't know what the tone of the book is going to be. I'm going to be optimistic about it, but I wish that they just came up with a fresh new villain, not one that's a female version of one that already exists. But that being said, Key Collector says that the first cameo appearance will be in issue number 1, and the first full appearance will be in issue number 2. So if you are optimistic about the spec potential of Shush, you might want to pick up issues 1 and 2. But it could be entertaining. I'm hopeful that it will be. And if you are as well, you might consider picking it up this week. Okay, that's it. That's all the books I want to talk about this week. I feel like I talked a lot this week, so I fear the length of this video. Forgive me if it is too long. I hope that you found it entertaining and informative. If you did, and even if you didn't, hit that like button. Please, I would appreciate it. And if you haven't already, I invite you now to subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.